All right. Yeah. This is going to be a long one. Again, that's what she said. Turn my heater off.
Don't you need the heat to not?
No, it's hot in here. It's insulated, man. It keeps the hot air in.
Gotcha.
For a while.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there is Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with a 90s. You can also find this show on YouTube every Monday at namely90s.com/YouTube. And finally, if you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/namely90s, also with a 90s, and sign up for one of our support levels. Hey, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I didn't send you a Valentine because I planned nothing in advance, first of all.
Gotcha.
Did you say fear your sexuality?
I said homosexuality, but yes.
Okay, got it. No, the stores were decimated. I had to go find like little candies for my son to put in his, and there's just nothing. So then I just decided to put a block of cream cheese in everyone's Valentine.
That's right. You're saying the stores are overstocked.
Yeah,
whereas I went to four different stores tonight and finally found a couple block bricks.
Every child in my son's class is getting an 8-ounce block of Philadelphia cream cheese.
Oh wow, you went name brand.
Actually, no, I think I got the Stonehill Farms Yolks brand. Anyway,
we have Challenge next to the.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like lower in fat. I don't know. What?
So you were saying how you got. Well, I thought you were going to say you got your wife like a small thing of chocolate that you couldn't because you didn't get anything.
It's a box full of chocolate covered cream cheese.
Make sure it's white chocolate though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so you got chocolates for your oldest, I assume, because he has to pass out his Valentine's.
Well, I got Tootsie Pops for the class. Yeah.
Wow.
There was no other candy available that comes in like a single serving type wrapper, so I just bought that because that's what there was.
It is still COVID era. Any plans for Valentine's Day?
Yes, I'm very romantically working. Wait.
Oh, wow.
Just gonna show up to work in like a teddy. No, you can't do that. No, I'm working, but then we're going out the night after. We're gonna hit up a couple of restaurants and have the kids watched by my parents. So they're doing some stuff. My grandma's moving to town. Never told you that, did I?
To where you live, or
my grandma from Montana is moving to the Spokane area.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you'll see your parents more often, less often.
I don't think it will have any bearing on that, actually. Except that she won't have a car, so I'm probably gonna have to do like what you did, where you have to like periodically pick up your very old grandmother and take her places.
Right.
But you don't have to first watch her like descend 8 flights of stairs on like a sheer cliff face,
which freezes over when it snows. Yeah. 39 steps. If
it's a handicap accessible unit. No,
I know. It's like just build an exterior elevator.
Yeah.
But like now, my grandma wouldn't have been tech savvy enough to do it. But like, you have those Uber delivery stuff or Postmates delivery, or what are they called? TaskRabbit? Not even TaskRabbit. There's like a specific
DoorDash.
DoorDash is also just like delivery food.
Instacart.
Instacart. I think it's Instacart.
That's where they deliver the groceries?
Yes. That's what I'm trying
Instacart.
To get to. That'll be fun for the kids to be near their great grandma. Okay.
What was the thing I said I was going to talk about? Oh, right. I just watched a movie on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 hours I'm never going to get back.
Was it He's All That? The
sequel
to...
that one's coming. Yeah. So first of all, we were going to watch Jurassic Park because my younger son, my older son wants to watch it, but we don't know if it's appropriate. So we watched it and have in fact deemed that he should not watch it.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Especially, well, maybe the TV edit, but not the full on movie.
I think we had the luxury of having just like TV edits of everything.
Yeah.
Whereas like who watches TV anymore?
But anyway, so we watched that. And first of all, Kayla's like, it's only 93 minutes. I'm like, Jurassic Park is not 93 minutes. It's like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then we started watching some other stuff, and we ended up watching this movie called How It Ends, which is a Netflix original movie starring Forrest Whitaker and Theo James and other people who I'm not familiar with.
With your small child.
No. It was one of those movies where, like, first of all, Forrest Whitaker's character, like, he just wasn't the right actor for that character, first of all. Second of all, it was one of those movies where it was, like, extremely stressful. Like, every situation they got into led to some sort of conflict. There was no like quiet moment in the movie where that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And the third problem was for a movie titled How It Ends, it literally doesn't have an ending. It just ends. They spend the whole movie alluding to some like big natural disaster or conspiracy or attack, and then never actually reveal what it was.
So it's an action thriller.
Yeah, it's a apocalyptic type like disaster movie.
Sounds terrible.
And it's really bad. So don't watch it.
Andrew's review of How It Ends, the 2019 version on Netflix. 2018 version on Netflix, not the 2021 comedy. Don't watch it. The heck, don't watch either of them.
What the hell? While we're making recommendations, don't watch anything.
Yeah.
It's just don't.
Well, welcome to our Valentine's Day special.
Yeah. Anyway, we have a lot to cover today.
We do. But it's the first of our like 12 specials this year to kind of pad out the end of our current format of Navy 90s. So just jumped right into She's All That because out of the 5, I think there are 5 movies that we kind of like narrowed down on Twitter. We had a poll, which is weird because there's only 4 slots on a Twitter poll. I must have just asked on Twitter, what is the best 90s rom-com? And there was a myriad of answers. Out of the top 5, I'd seen 4 of them. I think you'd seen 3 of them, which is interesting. But we both hadn't seen She's All That. And
you hadn't seen it? That's right.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you had. Yeah. Okay. I'm surprised you hadn't.
No, because I always say I feel like I've seen it because I've seen Not Another Teen Movie, which is like the last good parody movie, like the Scary Movie like era of those types of movies. And they heavily reference She's All That. Like the main plot thread is She's All That, with some other 90s rom-coms mixed in, like 10 Things I Hate About You, which Andrew definitely did not want to watch for this one. Yeah. So like I knew all the beats. And
none of the beats were unpredictable, to be fair.
That's true. It was cookie cutter. It was straight cookie cutter. Rom-com, teen rom-com. But yeah. I thought we should start by talking about the cast, though, because I was blown away. I was like, I know that guy. I know that guy. I know that guy.
Yeah, it's pretty littered with at least notable people.
Right. And going into it, we knew that Freddie Prinze Jr. is the main character, or one of the 2 leads, and Rachel
for some
Lee
reason,
Cook.
like, does Freddie Prinze Jr. for some reason I always. He reminds me of Harry Connick Jr., but I believe it's simply because of the name.
Maybe the hair.
Resemblance. They're both of the Junior dynasty.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe the hair. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you.
I just don't feel like Freddie Prinze Jr. is like that serviceable of a like male lead for 90s rom-coms, right? It just doesn't seem like it really. I mean, is that a thing? Was that a thing back then?
I mean, he was he got his breakout stardom, I think, in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Those the two movies.
Okay, yeah,
and then
of course, no one can forget
the
season of 24 where he played Jack Bauer's partner.
Right.
But tried to marry Kim. No, that was a different guy.
So many people tried to get with
marry
Kim
or kidnap or attack Kim with a cougar.
Assault. Oh God, it was a cougar. I forgot about that. I remember he was in that. That was later seasons, wasn't it? Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, and don't forget the Scooby-Doo movies.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. He was Fred,
which actually are kind of fun. You know, you got SMG. More to come on that.
Mm-hmm.
Submachine Gun. No.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes.
Yeah. His wife.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I should have known that. I think I did know that, actually.
It's one of those things that you don't remember until you see them together and you're like, oh yeah, that happened because of the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer. Those two movies, that's when they first met and kind of hit it off. And and then there was Rachel. Well, Freddie Prinze Jr. also recently was the voice of Kanan Jarrus in Star Wars Rebels, which was the second Star Wars animated series.
Okay.
He was like a Jedi that escaped Order 66, where all the Jedis died and Andrew's fallen asleep. But he was like the mentor character, and then spoilers, he dies. But
so can I just point out? I don't know why this reminded me of that. Well, Star Wars. So there's this new Boba Fett show.
The Book of Boba Fett, yeah.
And I heard someone complaining. You probably have the same friend from high school band, middle school band. Mm-hmm. And he was complaining because like the actor who plays him is quite old. Mm-hmm. And he says that shows in the action sequences. Doesn't he have a costume on where you can't tell his identity? I'm sure it's not actually the old guy, right?
It is for some to a lot of it.
Oh,
but, wow. It's Tamora Morrison. He's in his 50s now, but Boba Fett was like 8 or something, 8 to 12 during Attack of the Clones.
The heavy stunt work is probably done by another person.
Yeah, for sure.
to that point.
With the full mask on, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that he has a walker with like the tennis balls on him when he's walking around on stage, that's what you know. Well,
I mean, the other thing is like he's beefy, but he's like dad bod. Like the old school Boba Fett was like kind of slim, but somehow being stuck into the Sarlacc pit, and then
listen, a few years go by, you're eating a few too many intergalactic potato chips. It just starts to happen, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's roughly about the age Boba Fett would be in in this universe when the episodes air.
Anyway, sorry, I took us way off track. My bad.
They also kind of like snuck in some Maori, you know what I'm trying to say. The indigenous cultures to New Zealand, some of that tribal stuff into the Book of Boba Fett, because that's where Tamora Morrison's heritage is from.
Oh, I see. I get it.
Rachel Lee Cook was in this.
Mm-hmm.
She's a personal crush of mine from that era.
What's she known for other than this?
Babysitter's Club, apparently. I remember she was in she was Josie and Josie and the Pussycats. More recently, she's been in a lot of like Hallmark Christmas movies.
Is she still 3.5 feet tall?
Pretty much.
Okay.
She was in the This Is Your Brain on Drugs commercials. We talked about that.
Oh, right. We did talk about that.
Yeah. She was popular in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
There was that movie Carpool that no one watched except for me. With not Dan Aykroyd, Dan Arnold.
Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold. Thank you. I knew it was a 3-letter name.
One who wasn't he married to Roseanne Barr at one point?
But she also married her bodyguard at one point, which I found while doing research.
Was it Kevin Costner?
It was not. Not a good transition. Paul Walker's in this.
Rip to the max.
Rip to the max, as we say here. Dulé Hill from West Wing, Psych.
I would like to admit that I did not know that was Paul Walker.
He said that before the episode started. He was like, "Wait,
now I gotta look at which one that was."
There are two friends. One is black.
Okay.
And the black one is Dulé Hill.
Okay, I guess you're right.
He looks like Paul Walker. Like, he looks like a
but he's
Paul
not.
Walker.
This isn't the same guy who is really conceited over his time on.
No, that was Matthew Lillard. Can you guess?
Oh yeah. Brock
Hudson. That was Matthew Lillard. Can you guess which movie that he was in with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar? He was in two of them.
Scooby-Doo.
He was Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movies.
Oh, yeah, he was. That's why he looks familiar. Yeah. Oh, it's funny.
He's a treasure. I state that later on in my notes.
Okay.
The brother to Rachel E. Cook's character, Lainey, is played by Kieran Culkin.
Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't say bless
Wait a
you.
second. Are you dressed up like you're going on a date? Is that what this is about?
It's the Valentine's Day special.
I'm wearing a hoodie because I'm married and I don't give a shit anymore. No, I was just kidding. Can I say that? No, I still
try.
Oh no, I just have no illusions.
It took him this long. Kayla, I'm sorry. It took him this long to realize that about my attire. Wow. Kieran Culkin. That's Macaulay Culkin's brother.
Yeah.
From Home Alone. He was also he was in Home Alone. He was the like really annoying kid with the glasses. Kevin Pollak is the dad. He's best known to me. He was the other guy that's not Tom Cruise in
her dad.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. No, his dad was a nobody.
No, his dad was someone, but I didn't add it to my notes because I don't remember what he's in. But he's in stuff that I recognized him. But Kevin Pollak is the other guy, the other lawyer from A Few Good Men.
Oh, okay.
Eldon Hansen is the best friend that I thought was going to be like, I'm in love with you, Lainey, but they didn't. They did the smart thing and cut the Ducky angle from this movie. He was in Mighty Ducks, and like more recently, he's probably best known for being Foggy Nelson on the Netflix Daredevil show.
Okay, which apparently is going away.
Oh yeah, it's leaving Netflix at the end of the month. So if you want to watch the Netflix Marvel series, which are actually pretty good, highly recommend.
And just so you know, you only have 2 more weeks to watch Something Borrowed on Netflix before it goes away.
What is Something Borrowed?
I think that's got Cameron Diaz, John Krasinski, which normally John Krasinski being in something redeems it for me, but I don't think this one is going to work. You know?
You were excited. Usher was in this movie.
No, it's actually Jennifer Goodwin and Kate Hudson and Colin Egglesfield and John Krasinski.
I like Jennifer Goodwin. She was in Once Upon a Time.
I mean, I don't know, but you've only got a little bit more time.
Gotta check it out. Usher was in this movie as like the random school.
This is before he was famous for music, I believe.
I want to say he was on the charts in 99.
Oh no, 93 to present are the years he was active as a musician.
He started blowing up around 98, 99 because he's charted and in episodes that we've.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, he was famous at that point. I did not realize that.
Little Kim was in this.
Oh,
as one of the friends of the bitchy girl. Anna Paquin is the younger sister for Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character. She was like Rogue in X-Men. She Fly Away Home. She was like the main star of that True Blood vampire series.
Okay.
Gabrielle Union was in it. There's a Sarah Michelle Gellar cameo where she requests, like, she just showed up to set to hang out with Freddie Prinze Jr. and they put her to work.
Yeah, she didn't have any lines, but
my favorite part was Chris Owen, the redhead guy. So Sarah Michelle Gellar requested, was like, okay, I'll be in this as long as I don't have any lines, which is kind of awkward when Kieran Culkin goes up with the pepper mill and's like, you want some pepper? And she just kind of smiles.
Oh yeah, that's kind of funny.
Also, I am like 40% sure she is dressed up for a shoot on Buffy at the time of recording that cameo, because I've seen
Buffy
her.
Was started in 97.
Yeah, this is either season 3, season 4 of Buffy, and because she is like, I've seen her wear that outfit before. I don't remember what but I've seen her wear that.
I'd just like you to know that I just tried to Google Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I typed in Buddy the Vampire Slayer. It's a dog. No, I don't know.
I thought it was going to be the gender swapped revival series.
Oh gosh.
Chris Owens, the redhead guy who has the pube pizza.
Oh God.
He was also in American Pie.
That was horrifying. He also, in his IMDb picture, I know his Wikipedia picture, looks like Benedict Cumberfiddle or whatever.
Yeah, he kind of does with the
no,
gray
not that
hair.
One. Yeah.
And then Jodie Lynn O'Keefe, probably the least famous out of everyone on this list. She was in apparently she was in the TV series Nash Bridges.
Nash Bridges. Okay.
Before being in this, and then afterwards, the most notable role to me was she was like the girlfriend in Prison Break, which I never watched, but
apparently it's
the two actors from
not that good.
And finally, just to round out the bevy of characters. Wow, we talked about that for a long time. Alexis Arquette is Mitch, the performing arts guy, the guy in the diaper.
Don't remember that. Well, I was also doing something else while I watched the movie, to be fair.
So the first date, when he goes to see her in that art performance.
Oh yeah.
There's the guy, the main guy of the performance, the guy in the diaper. I think that was Alexis Arquette.
Okay.
Back then, Alexis Arquette was still transitioning, I think. I don't remember. But let's take a break and play our new game. I've developed a new game called Mighty Morphin Power Rankers. What do you think?
Mighty Morphin Power Rankers. That's fine. What other? You had some other names in there, right?
I had some other names. I was going to go with Ranking Bad, RANK Blue, Rank and Order, The Rank Files, Ranked by the Bell, Ranker Texas Ranger.
I like Mighty Morphin Power Rankers. That's probably my favorite one of the list.
It grew on me. And apparently you were the one that really wanted to do this. You wanted to rank 90s studs.
Did I really? I don't recall that. Yes, in a court of law, I would say I do not recall.
Pretty sure I have the text messages to back that up. I have the receipt somewhere.
Oh boy.
Or you might have just said it as a one-off thing when we were done recording. But so I've made 3 lists, and then I've put it to our social media accounts, Twitter and Instagram, to pick which one they would pick for the prompt that I gave.
Right.
Because it's 2022, right?
Yeah, it should be.
And we shouldn't just be objectifying these people. We should be objectifying them within context. So the first list we have is which one of these men would win the fight for your heart? We have Keanu Reeves, Brad Pitt, Denzel Washington, and George Clooney. I did my ranking beforehand because I had to collect the data before the episode started. So my ranking is number 1, Keanu, because of The Matrix. Number 2, Brad Pitt from Fight Club. Number 3, Denzel Washington, and number 4, Clooney, because bat nipples.
Yeah, I mean, I would order mine a little bit differently. Real big Denzel fan, so I'm gonna put him as number 1. And then I would go, I'm coming in with Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and then Keanu. I don't really love Keanu. You know,
Okay.
He's okay. He's good in The Matrix. I'll give him that. But
just FYI, these are 4 out of the 10 world's or sexiest man alive picks from the 90s. So that's where these 4 came from. And here are the results. Do you want votes or do you want just the order?
I want to know the votes.
Okay. At number 4, we have George Clooney with a total of 2 votes.
Ooh.
Number 3, Denzel with 3 votes. At number 2, we have Brad Pitt with 4 votes. And out of a total of 21 or 20, I can't do math. I just remember the Twitter total, not the Instagram total. With a total of 19 votes. At number 1, we have Keanu Reeves.
Wow.
So that's
Brandon has the same taste in men as the general public, is what we've determined.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Or as other podcasts.
Well, our Instagram gets a little further reach than our Twitter podcast. Find us at Namey90s with a 90s on Twitter and Instagram to play along. Our second ranking is going to be which one of these teen heartthrobs was on the cover of your Trapper Keeper? Trapper Keeper was kind of like a fancy folder binder that kids had in the 90s. A little bit before our time, we had the... I don't think we could say those anymore.
Probably not.
We can't. I'm fairly sure we can't.
Sure.
It's the file folders is I guess we call them now. We have Justin Timberlake, Mark Paul Gosselaar. He was Zach Morris. Leonardo DiCaprio, and James Vanderbeek, Dawson from Dawson's Creek.
Okay.
This was a list of like top 4, or it was the top rankers list of 90s heartthrobs.
Yeah.
Is where I got that one from.
Got it.
Do you want me to do my list first?
Sure.
Okay. Brandon's picks were at the top. We got Mark Paul Gosselaar for Zach Morris. He's also on NYPD Blue. People forget about that, but like they really transitioned quick.
Yeah, true.
Number 2, Justin Timberlake, because it's going to be May, even though that was after NSYNC. DiCaprio at number 3, and at number 4, I put Dawson.
Mine's pretty close to yours. I would swap 1 and 2. I put JT at the number 1, but otherwise agreed.
Okay. And the results at number 1, or wait, no, at number 4. So here's the thing. The top 2 spots were a tie and the bottom 2 spots were a tie.
Oh, weird.
So I sent out tiebreakers to random friends of mine and they came back with answers for me. So at number 4, we have, with 3 votes plus no tiebreaker vote, James Vanderbeek.
Yeah.
Going further up, we have at number 3 with the tiebreaker vote, and it was 2 votes for Vanderbeek, 2 votes for Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Oh, okay.
But he got the tiebreaker.
Got it. So he's 3.
So he's 3. We couldn't do a ranker with tied answers. And at number 2, we have, with 5 votes each, we have Leonardo DiCaprio and Justin Timberlake, and the tiebreaker vote went to DiCaprio. So
wah, wah.
That's the number 1. I don't know if you followed along. So we have
I did.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Justin Timberlake, Mark Paul Gosselaar, and James Vanderbeek for the official board. Thank you everyone for voting in that one. Wasn't as popular as the first one. And finally, just to be inclusive, Andrew just wanted to do guys.
That's not strictly true, but okay.
Let's not take that one out of context. Which one of these actresses played your favorite 90s Kelly? So we have Jeannie Garth, who played Kelly on 90210. The blonde, one of the blonde girls. We've watched an episode of 90210, so
yeah, we have.
Denise Richards played Kelly in Wild Things.
Okay.
We have Christina Applegate, who played Kelly Bundy on what's that called? Married with Children. And finally, we have Tiffany Amber Thiessen with Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell.
Okay. I can go first if you want.
Sure.
So I would put at number one. Ooh, gosh. I'm gonna go Applegate on number one.
Okay.
Two, I'd go higher on Tiffany Amber Thiessen as well. So number two. And then I'm gonna go Denise Richards, Jeannie Garth.
Okay. And let's see.
What was your?
Oh, sorry. For mine
selection.
My selection, number one, Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Kelly Kapowski was one of my first crushes. I don't remember how it works out these days. Tiffany Amber Thiessen, Amy Jo Johnson, Rachel E. Cook, any girl with three names. At number two, I put Denise Richards because Wild Things is that's a horny movie, man. Tell you what. Number three, I put Christina Applegate because she was comedic gold on Married with Children and pretty much anything she's been in since. And finally, I put Jeannie Garth all the way at the bottom because 90210. That was a little bit before our time, as we were told when we did that episode. So the official ranking from our Twitter and Instagram came down to at number 4 with one pick, Denise Richards. See, I didn't see that coming.
Only one vote?
One vote.
Wow.
Across 2 platforms. At number 3, we have Ms. Garth from 90210 with 2 votes. Yeah. It's okay. Surprising. And with 8 votes, at number 2, we have Christina Applegate with Kelly Bundy.
All right.
Which means our number 1 with 11 votes is Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Okay. Okay.
I don't remember how we score this since I didn't bother to write down what your picks were.
You were closer on all of them.
Well, I was? Okay.
Well, you were closer on the first and third one.
So I got
the second one, we were both pretty wrong.
Yeah. I got the first one correct.
True.
Yeah.
And you got the next one. Yeah, I would say you won this round.
Thank you. For future rounds, I will figure out the rules and get back to you. But yeah, so thank you for listening to the first episode or first episode with our new game, Mighty Morphin Power Rankers. Let us know what you think about it. And if you want to contribute, find us on our socials at Namely90s with 90s on Instagram and on Twitter.
And vote.
We might have more lead up times for our next one.
Yeah,
but
you'll vote. Brandon will halt the legal democratic proceedings of our country as a small petulant child and try to steal the election.
Yes.
What? It is.
I will ask for a recount after recount, and when that doesn't work, I will send my people to change the numbers so that I win. But I won fair and square this time, so next time I will definitely lose and not accept it.
That's fake news.
Before we move on to our mid-episode break, I thought we should talk about the soundtrack just really quick. She's All That.
Okay.
This was the movie that made Sixpence None the Richer's Kiss Me popular.
Yeah, I know that song well.
Please tell us your experience with Kiss Me by Sixpence.
I have been going to the Everett Silvertips hockey games for many years, and they have the the legendary kiss cam during the intermission. And one of the segments is the kiss cam, right? And they always play Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer, which I thought was a song by Faith Hill.
Wow. That's fair. I thought it was like the Cranberries when we were younger, but I definitely have known it's been Sixpence.
There's another song by Faith Hill that's like kind of similar, and that's why I think
Come to My Window.
No. This is a country
artist. Tony Braxton. Yes.
This Kiss,
which
and
they
I always
also
get them
play
mixed up.
They also play that at the Kiss Cam.
Yeah, they do for sure. For sure.
I also thought we should just point out they had "Give It to Me, Baby" by Rick James, which
all I can think about is the Chappelle thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There was also Fatboy Slim was on this, Remy Zero, Liz Phair, Black Eyed Peas, Jurassic 5.
Fatboy Slim.
Yeah. It was a pretty poppin' soundtrack.
No Usher.
Poorly. Yes, that's a good point. Usher in the movie, not on the soundtrack. But it's interesting just that like, it's such a good soundtrack, but just so poorly executed in the movie. Like the only time they bothered. Like they even remixed the Sixpence None the Richer song when she's like walking down the stairs, so that it was just all like instrumental until you saw her face. But I'm like, and then they like cut to the middle of a verse. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, I thought we should. Well, so in honor of our Valentine's Day special. This week, I decided to do our Name Me 90s Minute on She's All That. Because we're talking about She's All That all episode.
Are we?
We are. Except for when we did your ranking of guys earlier. So let's toss it over to the Name Me 90s Minute for this week. Welcome back to our new mid-episode break, namely 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helped stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of Valentine's Day, we are taking a look back at the 90s classic, She's All That. She's All That is a 1999 teen romantic comedy starring Josie from Josie and the Pussycats as Lainey Boggs, a clumsy middle-class high school senior and artist who is simultaneously strong-willed while not confident in herself. Also, she's considered ugly because she wears glasses and a ponytail. This will come into play later. The story kicks off the day after spring break, ends with Zach Seiler, played by live-action Fred from Scooby-Doo, and his two friends, Gus from Psych and Brian O'Connor from The Fast and the Furious, when he's unexpectedly dumped by Gretchen Morgan from Prison Break, who started dating live-action Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, a self-obsessed reality TV star. Too Fast, Too Furious bets Zach that he can't turn Lainey Boggs into a prom queen in 6 weeks. After getting advice from his younger sister, played by Rogue from X-Men, Zach stalks Lainey at her job and convinces her to invite him to a creepy art performance she is in. The next day, Zach stalks Lainey to her house and meets her dad, Sam Weinberg from A Few Good Men, her brother, Home Alone's brother, and then he convinces her to come to the beach and eventually a rich kid house party later that evening. To convince her to go, he brings a form-fitting red dress that is her exact measurements, creepy, and his sister to give her a haircut and makeover. Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer plays and everything is magical. The end. Except not. This is a stereotypical rom-com, so in the third act, Fast and Furious pretends to care about Lainey and throws Zach under the bus about the bet. Lainey gets upset, Zach takes his sister to prom, Usher DJs the whole thing, and Lainey ends up there with Fast 5. Lainey barely misses out on winning prom queen, so Fast and Furious 6 takes Lainey to a hotel and tries to force himself on her. Instead, he gets an air horn to his ear. Zach leaves prom trying to chase her down and eventually finds her at home, where they reconcile and dance together, presumably for the rest of their lives. Because again, this is a rom-com. At least there's no room for a gender swapped sequel with all the problematic parts of this movie. Right? And that's She's All That in the Namely 90s Minute. More or less.
And now, back to the show.
All right, anywhere you want... Wait, nope. Did that wrong again.
Still no.
We're just She's All That. She's All That. We watched She's All That.
Yes, we did.
First time for both of us. Didn't watch it together. No cuddling while watching this movie for us.
No, I watched it with great attention to the movie as I was watching it.
which means he was doing 5 other things at the same time.
Yes, I was.
Meanwhile, I sat with my laptop open, making snarky comments every 5 minutes.
That's good.
Yes. So let's do our thing. Let's look at it chronologically. It opens on Rachel Lee Cook as Lainey Boggs with a paint collage montage to begin.
Paint collage montage.
That sounds like it should be an NFT. It starts with her painting, and then she's waking up her brother. She has some line about children in Mexico have already been up for 3 hours slaving away for corporate America. So, so Lainey's a certain way about her things.
It's one of those left-leaning liberals.
And then she threatens to spit in Kieran Culkin's juice. To which
gross. Oh God.
To which I wrote, "Spit in my juice, Rachel Lee Cook." Then there's a second opening scene after we've introduced Lainey. We introduce Zach. What is it? Zach Tilley? Zach. I've said his name like 15 times. Zach Seiler, played by Freddie Prinze Jr. Apparently everyone's just gotten back from spring break. He rolls up with a vanity plate that says Mr. Prez. In California, he is the one person that was able to get that vanity plate for what I thought was a Hummer H2, which didn't exist in 1999, but he drives like a yellow. What was that thing?
Yeah, it's definitely the H2 was 2003.
Yeah.
So, it's a miss.
It was like, it looked like a boxy Jeep. Like, could it have been a Grand Cherokee with its top off? Or a Wagoneer?
I can't find a picture of it. I can't remember.
Bronco 2? There's no good picture of it either. Like, it pulls up and it's like the grill with the license plate. And then
who's the character who gets out of it?
Zach Seiler with a CK. And then kind of just imagine this is how your life as ASB president was when.
Yes, that's exactly right.
In this opening scene.
It appears to be a Jeep. I don't know.
Lainey fat shames her best friend.
Perfect. That's very 90s.
Yes. Well, he's trying to lose weight for graduation. Then we see Zach's 2 best friends, Paul Walker and Dule Hill. I don't remember what their characters' names are, nor is it important. Let's see. Paul Walker's character is Dean Sampson Jr. and Dule Hill is Preston. No last name.
Just Preston.
Just Preston. Wow. And then I don't remember what made me. Oh yeah. So he gets back from spring break. He hasn't heard from his girlfriend all spring break. She went on a trip and met a new guy. She was apparently at MTV's Beach House, dancing on a platform and then she bumped into Matt Lillard's character, Brock Hudson, who was on season 2 of The Real World, which makes him in his mid-20s, and he's dating this high school senior.
Ooh, that's awkward.
Right? Because The Real World started in 94, so yeah.
So that's not appropriate. Wow. Yeah, it's always awkward when the person you're dating is like, hasn't answered their phone for 3 weeks, and it's like, oh yeah, I was in Europe. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. Like, what? Not my wife, by the way.
No, definitely not his wife. Some of these notes, Andrew, are just for you, and I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm picking up on that.
So yeah, apparently she was in Florida, which is clearly like a California shoot.
Yeah, that was that whole movie, by the way, how it ends. It was like they were supposedly in Washington for a large portion of it, and I'm like, it's clearly California.
Why wouldn't you shoot Why wouldn't you shoot in Vancouver? Like everyone shoots in Vancouver. And then at one point
they were supposed to be in Coeur d'Alene, and I was just like, yeah, nope, that's not, nope. These movies, they spend like $1 bazillion making these movies, and they can't just like swing out to Coeur d'Alene for like 5 minutes.
Or a little CG. Just a little CG to make it not look like it's, the palm trees. Just get rid of the palm trees. So there's in art class, Lainey is shown to be not able to find herself, and the rich girl, the rich goth girls go over to her and tell her that she should kill herself. So that's a great introduction to those two. Usher's on the school radio.
Yeah, I know. I love that. Like, what?
Not his music, just him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I can't confirm that's what a high school art class looks like though, because I think I had to take art for a semester.
Yeah, I took art for a little bit before I got into. But no, I can't remember. Choir?
I thought you didn't do choir in high school.
Middle school.
Oh. I didn't know we had art in middle school.
Yeah, I remember we had in a little building next to the gym, there was like the home ec place and the art place and the wood shop place.
We had wood shop in middle school. I was in band the whole time.
Yeah, there was like a little, remember when you were walking to the gym?
I remember the area you're talking
about.
To
the left, there was like a building, and it had art was the first door on the right. And then home ec was like the next classroom on the right. And on the left-hand side was like the shop class.
Oh, like that weird little building in between the main building.
Yeah, it was like a little annex. It was like between the gym and the portables and the main building.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I remember the portables because I was in that for 8th grade.
Yeah, I did art for a little bit. It sucked.
Anyway, back to the movie. Paul Walker tells Freddie Prinze Jr. Zach to get over Taylor dumping you, and he develops a bet. And do you remember what the bet was, Andrew?
That he can't take the dorkiest or dweebiest gal and make her into the prom queen.
And in our first scene of inappropriateness, or something that shouldn't happen in cinema today, even though I'm pretty sure it also happens in He's All That, they scan around and try to see which girl is the most undesirable, so that he can make into prom queen in 6 weeks. Yeah, not a good look. There's one girl that walks by as he's describing her, and he's like, "This girl right here, she's like Chelsea Clinton, but with like bad hair." I was like, she's walking by you as you like sexualize her, Chelsea Clinton her.
Yeah, I would say an adjacent hashtag to Me Too would be hashtag just don't. Like, don't sit there and just like judge people out loud about their physical appearance. Yeah. That's not appropriate.
There's a girl picking a wedgie, and they call that rectal archaeology.
Oh yeah, that one. I cringed at that joke, and I do have to go back because I just remembered when I read your line. Like, when they told her to kill herself, I was like, oh my god, this is dark. But the rectal archaeology line was gross.
And then Zach, the nobleman that he says, "Fat I can handle."
Now, fat I can handle. No,
but Lainey Boggs is scary and inaccessible. Whereas I would pick scary and inaccessible at any time. Wait. So they pick Lainey, Rachel Lee Cook's character. He goes over to talk to her. I'm pretty sure he calls, and any sensitive UK listeners, trigger warning, calls his or her brother Spaz. And he's like, "He knows my name," and she's like, "That's not your name." That got a genuine laugh.
Oh, is that offensive in the motherland?
Yes, it's because it's referring to a state of It's like when we've called people the R word.
Hey, it's their choice to use that as their offensive word.
Well, it's short for spastic, which is an offensive older term for all of that type of thing, as far as I'm aware. And then we see Freddie Prinze Jr. in his most charismatic role, playing hacky sack with his hand. That's not how you play hacky sack.
No.
Also, I just have the word rebound skank typed in my notes. Don't remember. Yeah, Zach's sister. He's talking to his younger sister.
Skank. I remember that term.
Yeah, she apparently goes to like an all girls school. Anna Paquin, everybody. Anna Paquin. And we also find out that Zach can't decide where to go to college because he's been accepted to everywhere.
All of the big name Ivy League colleges.
But he just doesn't want to become like his father, but he knows his dad wants him to go to Dartmouth. So,
I mean, to me, like, of the list of the prestigious universities, Dartmouth isn't even anywhere near the top. I'm like, oh, Yale, Harvard, Brown.
Yeah.
Dartmouth, I'm like, Dartmouth is like, to me, kind of like, if you're going to get into an Ivy League school, that's the one you're going to go to? Really? I don't know.
If you've gotten into Yale, do you really go to Dartmouth instead? Do you really encourage your son to go to Dartmouth instead?
I don't even know one city in New Hampshire.
Right.
It's in Hanover,
Quahog.
New Hampshire. That's
Quahog.
in Rhode Island.
Gotcha.
It isn't real.
Aw. Quahog. So after school, he stalks her to her places where she works. She works at a falafel restaurant.
What the hell is the outfit she's wearing? It's like, again, these movies, they always try to go with like
outrageous.
They go with someone who is supposed to be unattractive, but they are because they're an actress and they're in a movie, which unfortunately is how casting decisions are made. And you also have to do the transformation later in the movie, but they just think like big, thick glasses and like bizarre clothing are the way to do that.
Speaking of casting decisions, Harvey Weinstein personally cast most of the cast for this movie.
I feel dirty now.
Yeah, right. By calling in favors. That's a quote from Wikipedia. So
I feel like. Do you feel like he was a little loose with his preferences potentially?
With all the men that he's cast in this, yeah, probably. Not that we're making light of what happened.
No, but I'm just saying I feel like he was into whatever, including a lot of things that were very, very not okay.
Takes all kinds. This is where we get the classic line. What is this? Some sort of dork outreach program?
That line works for me. I like that line.
Yeah, and she does a very great job of delivering it. But back to your uniforms for the falafel restaurant. It looked like a hot dog on a stick uniform, except her hat was a falafel.
Oh, okay. I didn't really catch that.
Or a falafel in like pita.
Yeah, because the falafel's like it's like a chickpea based ball that's fried.
Yes. But a falafel sandwich, I think you put into a pita. Wow. But that's why it looked like she had a taco on her head. But he gets a first date with her, ? Her best friend invites him to take his ticket to the terrible art performance that she's in that evening. Which is, I was sitting there, like, the point of this is like, this is some weird like performance art that's like out there. But they made us sit through it too. So
yeah, it was a lot.
They're the worst. And yes, the moment Rachel Lee Cook comes on stage, I was infatuated. Just because it's Rachel Lee Cook. And although she has glasses and a ponytail.
Yeah, like it's again, like those are not bad things.
She's so unattractive, and then like wearing a white face, I guess.
Yeah, which is still allowed in this day and age. But yeah, the performance art thing is not.
And then
why does it exist?
And then she like terrorizes him by having him come up on stage and do a performance with no.
But then I feel like it goes pretty well.
It does, because he pulls out his hacky sack and plays with it with his hands, and then he gets the feet.
Got people from the 90s, like the person who carries a hacky sack around. How much do you not want to be that person's friend?
I was that person in high school.
Oh, dear Lord.
But I would play with it with my hands. I have no defense.
In hindsight, I have no defense.
I was bored after school, waiting to be picked up, and it was something to do by myself. The hacky sack, man. It was a holdover from the 90s. It makes me ask, who is the sympathetic character in all this? Honestly, like that was a jerk move, putting him up on stage.
I agree.
I'm aware that one, he's a terrible person, and two, he's like stalking her.
Yeah, like it gets a bit creepy.
Yeah. But yeah, so afterwards they're like walking together, like, oh, and then he's touches her face and says, "You have the most beautiful eyes," and then she's like, "Trigger warning," and then leaves. Like, you have the most beautiful eyes. Have you tried that line in the last
If
decade?
I was Rachel Lee Cook or any other young woman and a man said that to me, I would be expecting him to literally dismember me later. Like, that is a creepy thing to say.
It is. I feel like I've said that once or twice, but mostly as a joke, just to see what the reaction would be.
That's a really beautiful.
Not like that. It's the earnest looking down the eyes and say, "You have really beautiful eyes."
Oh God.
You're welcome. You're welcome, the two of you out there that watch your YouTube video.
Harvey Weinstein's like, let me give you some personal notes on this. You shouldn't have told me he was involved.
So the next day, Freddie Prinze Jr. stalks her to her house.
Perfect.
Zach stalks her to Lainey to her house, meets the dad who offers him a jock strap he found in a pool. Because he owns a pool filter maintenance.
Yeah.
And then her younger brother invites him to play Sega. And when Lainey refuses to go to the beach with him, he's like, "Okay, I'll play Sega with you all day." A random small child, Simon. Also, I don't why he had 2 hearing aids.
I did not know that. Is that a character thing, or is he actually?
I don't know, because I feel like the kid he played in Home Alone had hearing aids too, but I know that he currently doesn't have hearing aids, and there was nothing on Wikipedia about him having any like listening disability. Oh. So it might have just been a choice in the 90s to give.
Yeah, true. Represent the deaf community, hard of hearing.
Was it? Oh, it was never explained. It was never explained. And if it was explained, let us know on Twitter at Namely90s with 90s. So to make sure that her stalker doesn't play video games with her brother all day, she instead goes to the beach with him.
Normal.
Yeah, wearing overalls to the beach.
See, that's the thing. Like, I get that she's not like attractive, and they have to make that the case by her wearing weird things. Mm-hmm. But like, I still think going to the beach, you would wear something like fairly normal, even if that was weird. Something
flowy.
Yeah,
or like a muumuu.
Muumuu. Jesus.
Is that an offensive term? Because they're called that. They're called that.
Oh God, that's funny. That's really funny.
And at one point on their walk on the beach, he says, "You should smile more."
I know. As soon as I heard it, I was like, "Oh God!"
Forget CNN. You should smile more. Yeah. But then his friends arrive, and she takes off her overalls and is in a very form-fitting one piece.
Yes, true.
To which the three male characters ogle from afar. The quote was, "Check out the Bobos on Super Freak." I believe that was Paul Walker's character.
Yeah.
How did he ever get the Fast and Furious franchise from?
The Fast and Furious people are standing up, like just off frame with their clipboards. Like, interesting.
I could see this guy stalking a woman and asking for her tuna melt.
Can you please say the word family 12 times for us? Thank you.
Do you aspire to drive a car to the moon? She also does the none taken when was that Little Kim? One of the girls is like, "I've seen you play or try to run in gym. I don't think you're gonna play volleyball." No offense.
Yeah. So,
none taken, and then she goes plays volleyball. By the way, they played 4-on-4 beach volleyball. That's not a thing. Beach volleyball is 2-on-2. As we know from Andrew's favorite scene in Top Gun, and indoor volleyball is 6-on-6. There's no 4-on-4 beach volleyball.
At the beach, keep things loose, keep things fun, do whatever you go.
They had enough people for 6-on-6 though. Like the friends that didn't play, they should have just played. Yeah. So. Let's see. As they're leaving the beach, they invite Lainey to go to a rich kids party later that night. Lainey makes an excuse after everyone leaves, and it's like, "I have to clean the house and wash my hair and whatever." So yet again, Stalker Boy, Freddie Prinze Jr. shows up again with the junior varsity soccer team to clean her house, which was not like dirty in the first place.
Yeah.
And a nice brand new red dress for Lainey to wear to this party. So the guy that has stalked her to her place of business and then house has figured out her measurements.
Oh dear!
Without asking and brings her a form-fitting dress, and I'm fairly sure heels, because where do those red heels come from? And also his sister to give her a makeover and a haircut. She gave her a haircut in her room.
Yeah, how do you get her measurements? That's creepy.
Exactly. And on top,
hey baby, you gotta be like, what, a size? It's like, what?
I looked at your overalls earlier, and I slimmed it down like 3 sizes.
Yeah, they were an extra medium, so I went with.
when I was fixing your swimsuit tag, I figured it out. Meanwhile, her younger brother mixes him a margarita from the schnapps that they have in their house, while the dad's just like not paying attention and watching Jeopardy. My third legit out loud laugh in this movie was when Lainey's dad like kind of looks up and sees the people cleaning around him. He's like, "Who are you people?"
I also like that he just knew none of the Jeopardy answers, but he thought he knew that.
That's a classic. Kevin Pollak, great actor. So that's our hour mark. Let's see.
It reminds me of the episode of Family Guy where Brian is a seeing eye dog, but he goes to the movies and he's just like, nothing's happening. That's a
good one. That's
pretty much what we're doing here.
Well,
not quite. There's a lot.
There's just so much in this one. They've been seeing each other for a day and a half at this point. By the way, like that's the way I'm fairly sure. Like,
yeah,
he stalked her after school. She had a thing that night that he went to. He showed up the next day. This is now the evening of the second day. Yeah. They go to the party. It's the scene. It's the scene that everyone knows. Sixpence None the Richer is playing. She comes down the stairs with the red dress, and you're like, "Oh my God, she was so ugly earlier with her glasses and long hair." now she's beautiful with like shoulder length hair and contacts and a form-fitting red dress and like 8-inch heels. And then she trips. I think this is of like the 5 actors that I'm going to say are a treasure. Rachel Lee Cook in this movie, Rachel Lee Cook, as she like stumbles down the last set of stairs, amazing. And then when like they're leaving, she still has like her quote unquote frumpy, her unattractive like mannerisms and like posture and everything.
Yeah.
Which I would call adorkable. Rachel Lee Cook is a treasure. So the party, what do you think? What do you think? The party?
I just don't think that's really, I just want to say, I don't think parties like that actually happen for high schoolers.
Well, they were rich kids.
Still. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think there's much. You know, the popular people are being douches and they're being mean to Rachel Lee Cook.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Well, the major plot point there is that Taylor, the ex-girlfriend, pours her drink down Lainey's dress.
Yes.
Like intentionally. That's another thing where it's just like, wow. What a bitch.
Yeah.
And then makes her cry by saying, "You're vapor, you're spam, a waste of perfectly good yearbook space."
If someone said those things to me, I'd be like, what? You've called me vapor and canned meat. I don't understand what, like, those aren't even insults.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be, actually, I would want to be spam.
I mean, this was when, were they talking about spam as in stupid, pointless, annoying messages, which is what spam stands for in the internet world? Possibly. Did you know that?
Wait, they retconned spam into an acronym for the internet?
Yeah.
Because spam was around before the internet.
Yeah.
Wow. Never knew that.
Well, apparently it was before pre-internet. Okay, no, it wasn't called spam back then.
Junk mail?
1978 was the first use of the word spam in the internet.
That context.
Yeah, I don't know if it actually means stupid, pointless, annoying messages, but that's what I remember it meaning.
I do not remember that. So the following day at school, Lainey's somehow been nominated for prom queen. Paul Walker is the worst character in this movie. I hate everything. Brock breaks up with Taylor. So I think the greatest thing was he did the exact same speech to her that she did to him, or to Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
Except he had to leave for All-Star Road Rules, which was the companion show. It was like The Real World and Road Rules were the 2 MTV shows back then. Later that day, we learned that Lainey's mom died from cancer as she's painting a collage of her dead mother in the basement.
Oh, Lord.
Where Freddie Prinze Jr. comes down and says something. And then they like argue with each other and tell each other positive things. And he should have kissed her in that scene where he was about to kiss her, and he's like, "I gotta get out of here."
Yeah, that was weird. Why did he have to get out of there again?
He had to help his dad with something. So from what I took from it was that he realized that he was falling in love with this girl instead of just like making her into something, and didn't understand how to balance that, and got afraid. He was a scared. Next day at school, we should skip it, but there's an important cameo that I want to talk about. but there was also beatboxing about Lainey, which
when that happened, I wanted to curl up into a ball and die of embarrassment
for those people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. She asks her best friend if she is kissable. He says something about, or she says screw the dolphins, and he's like, I tried that last year but got banned from the zoo for life. It's pretty good.
That is good.
And then her little brother is like roller skating around the cafeteria offering people pepper out of a pepper mill.
Yeah. Shouldn't he be in middle school? Like, why is he there? I don't know.
You would think he might be a freshman.
Okay.
But he rolls up on Sarah Michelle Gellar, who is Freddie Prinze Jr.'s future wife, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I was like, oh my God, it's Buffy.
Buffy! Buddy!
I think we already talked about the pubes pizza.
God, that was disgusting.
The fact that he made them both eat it.
That was hard to watch.
That was hard. Yeah. So he's also in American Pie, and there's like a scene where Stifler drinks a cup of splooge, thinking it's beer. Someone at a party got a bajay, and she spit out into a cup.
Oh dear.
That was it was a red Solo cup and just left out.
Oh
yeah. So, but somehow the pube pizza was worse.
Yeah.
Worse.
Good.
And then this is where Paul Walker's character is the worst and is pretending to be like sympathetic to Lainey. And it's just terrible. I hated Paul Walker's character the entire time.
Yeah, he was really terrible.
Rest RIP to the max. But yeah, eventually it's the day before prom, and they're like the third act misunderstanding of every rom-com where Paul Walker's like, it was a bet, but I can't like let Lainey go through this anymore. You're a bad man.
You're like, everything's going so well. I wonder what's going to happen next to derail the plot.
Right. I was invested in Zach and Lainey's relationship at this point.
Yeah.
I kind of like.
I was like, no. I wonder if they're going to sort this out.
And then prom night happens. There's a heart-to-heart with a parent figure cliche. Where it's revealed that Lainey's 17, which kind of creeped me out for everything that I said previously.
Good job.
Because, well, one, she was 21 in real life, and two, everyone else is 18. Like, they firmly established that Taylor's 18.
Right,
Zach's
and at that
18.
time, you were 11.
That's true.
When it came out, so.
But we just watched it for the first time yesterday.
I don't know. Is it technically creepy? Well, never mind. She was 21 at the time.
Yeah. What you need to know is yes, it was creepy. If you ever ask the question, I don't know, was it creepy? It was creepy. So they do a bait and switch where they're like, her dad convinces her to go to prom, and he's like, the young man upstairs is waiting for you. And you think it's going to be Freddie Prinze Jr., but it's Paul Walker. RIP to the max, Paul Walker. Freddie Prinze Jr. takes his younger sister to the prom, who eventually hooks up with Lainey's best friend. And also there's a blow-up doll. Someone has a blow-up doll as their prom date. Like,
that's what?
I do not remember any of that at my prom. Like, there were photos. Yes. Was there a flash mob dancing in the middle of the freaking dance? No, I don't remember that. I'm fairly sure no one brought a blow-up doll to the prom as their date.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah. Someone would stop that. One of the parents that were there would stop that. And then there's like the dance club. Like, did all the dance club kids just rehearse a dance for the middle of the freaking dance? Also, it's revealed at this point in the movie that the best friend of Lainey, who's white, by the way, is named Jesse Jackson. I thought that that was interesting. But I loved the exchange with Zach's sister where he's like, I'm a terrible dancer. And she's like, I go to a school with 500 chicks. So Zach wins prom king. A horny teacher kisses him on the cheek. I thought that was slightly inappropriate as well.
A little Mary Kay Letourneau action going on there.
Pretty much. And then Lainey loses 54 to 46.
That's not bad. I mean, that's
I know she almost won. She should have won. But there's also the girl giving out actual gift bags while she was campaigning.
I don't know. You said 46%?
Yeah, it was 54 to 46. Right? Yeah. And Paul Walker's character is like, I spent $300 on a hotel room, and then convinces Lainey to duck out with him while Taylor gets the prom queen.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Lainey won. I mean, Trump had 47% of the vote and Biden had 51. And as we know, the election was stolen by
That's where you're
Joe
going with
Biden.
that.
Yeah, so I had to look it up. I wanted to fact check myself, so I went to foxnews.com. Wait, no, I didn't.
And then yeah, so the Zach's sister and Lainey's best friend yell at him to go find Lainey before she hooks up with Paul Walker's character.
Seriously, the worst character ever.
And that's how he was designed. This is nothing on Paul Walker. Paul Walker, good actor. Yeah, fit the role somehow.
Played it well. We all hated him by the end of the movie.
Yeah, and that was the point. But apparently, Freddie Prinze Jr. drives all over town trying to find the hotel room because they knew the number, but not the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
And ends up just driving to her house. So he was hanging out with her dad and her brother off camera.
Yeah.
And she shows up. What if she had actually fallen for Paul Walker's ruse, and she's coming home and they just hooked up in a hotel room during prom. Yeah.
Also, we have to know that she's not going to,
True.
But he was in her house entirely too much. This is a crime at this point.
I think they were cool by the time. Oh wait, no, never mind. They say it as they're going to bed. They're like, we cool. And yeah, they have the happily ever after moment and the very profound. What did you lose in the bet? My best friend.
Oh God, gag me with a spoon.
And she gives him the first dance, but we all saw her dancing at the prom. I just. And the ending, she's like, I feel just like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, except for the whole hooker thing.
Yeah. But sex worker. And
I'm sorry, that is a direct quote from what she said.
No, I know. I'm saying her.
Yes.
Because it's the 90s. This is the thing that people just said stuff and it was fine back then. And then Harvey Weinstein tried to sexually assault you. And, it was a different time.
Speaking of weird things that Harvey Weinstein might be into, the loss, since he lost the bet, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character had to go to graduation in the nude.
Right.
Which makes me ask, who is in charge of these kids? Taylor's in the background chain smoking.
Also, I'm just not going to do that. I don't care if I lost some bet. Show me the contract.
Well, he says he always honors his bets. Also, we should point out that Lainey got wise to Paul Walker's thing and blew an air horn in his ear to get away from him.
It's like a flop whistle, but a flop air horn.
We can't say the R word on YouTube, so
sorry.
That's why I said air horn.
I don't know the YouTube rules. Who knows? You can say all sorts of shit on there.
I literally have flop horn in my notes, and I said air horn.
Well, I don't know. I'm not familiar with. You can say anything you want on YouTube except that.
Well, the algorithm changes a lot, but that's one of the things that gets you. you sent down the hole these days. So what was your thoughts on
I thought it was largely painful, wildly offensive in many parts, and very predictable. So not very good.
You didn't you didn't find it charming. You're glad you watched it. This piece of pop culture.
So I mean, here's the thing. I don't love chick flicks generally. Sorry, rom-coms would be the appropriate term. Don't really like rom-coms.
You hate even more teen rom-coms, you told me before we started this.
I don't mind when they're like, because I feel like the teen rom-coms always overdo it with like how high school is. Like, it's not like that. You know, that's where I get into trouble. I think they glorify it beyond a level that it actually is.
I mean, aside from the weird dance number in the middle of prom, a lot of what happened kind of tracked with one or other of our high school experiences. And it kind of switched off from time to time on which one was which. I mean, yes, it was, for the point of the movie, they were the like kill yourself girls, but also at the same time, there are horrible girls like that in school now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I had a different high school experience, but I don't know. Some
of the rich kids at my school lived in West Seattle, so they did have parties like that.
But I understand. Yeah, I don't know. It just to me they always seem like they're overdone.
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely.
They are almost more like college movies, but they're in high school. That's what drives me nuts about it.
That's fair. Like the small child making a cocktail for the stalker while he waits for her to get a makeover.
Correct. Although I have done that before as a smaller child.
You've
yes.
I need to know what your childhood Cosmo recipe was.
It was mostly red Kool-Aid with a bit of vodka.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I liked, like, aside from the problematic stuff, I thought the Rachel Lee Cook and Freddie Prinze Jr. did a great job in this. Matthew Lillard was a freaking treasure as that like burnout. Paul Walker was so infuriating in this movie, but that was the part that he was given, and it worked. It has many flaws, but I think I enjoyed having watched this movie watching this movie. Will I watch it again? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think you need to. Right?
Will I watch the Netflix original He's All That? No. I watched I watched the trailer for that when I did the Name Me 90s Minute, and it looks like they brought back all of the problematic parts from this movie into that one, but gender swapped it.
Is that the one with Forrest Whitaker in it? No, I'm just kidding.
So if you have not seen it, I'd highly recommend seeing it. And if you want to discuss it further with one of us, Everything 90s is going to be hosting a discussion later in the month. Check them out on Instagram at Everything 90s, because I was the one that picked the movie for that, because I was like, well, I have to watch it for Namely 90s anyway.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Kill two birds with one stone.
Exactly. But that's it for this week's special Valentine's Day edition of Namely 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Check the episode description for this week's supplemental Spotify playlist, curated by yours truly. This week doesn't have one. I don't know why I read that. Maybe it'll just be the soundtrack to this movie. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Namely90s with 90s, or find our personal accounts at bshwitty and at NamelyAndrew, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Namely90s, also with the 90s. Finally, you can also contact us through our website, Namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, She's All That, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon, that's Andrew, and have a happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
the most beautiful eyes.